That's the doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now, when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
Hey, we're here on the People's Weekly. What's up, Glenn?
Buenos dias.
I told you we were here. We were just muted so that people couldn't hear us talking bad about them.
The Pope.
Yeah, we would never talk bad about the Pope publicly. Fuck that guy. So no, we were actually talking about some good news. I think I'm a little hot on Mike. Some good news that 17 days. It's been 17 days and they haven't captured anybody for plugging them pigs in Compton. So that's good news. I hope it goes on forever so they can feel how the community feels when there's murderers that want to murder you walking the streets all the time.
I think that's the best comparison right there.
Yeah. These cats could have been in the sheriff's face smiling and waving at him. They wouldn't know. Plotting the next attack, hopefully.
Yeah, which is also exactly the way they operate. So.
Yeah. The only difference is everybody knows who you know, the pig is. Eventually they kill the people. And they might be the one that's pulling you over with their hand on their gun. You're like, oh my God, this mass murderer is pulling me over with his hand on his gun or her hand on her gun.
With quote unquote legal authority to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks those cops made it through, but whatever. At least they learned a little lesson. Maybe they didn't learn a lesson, I don't know, but pigs aren't that bright. That's the issue with pigs.
Well, it's from my point of view, it's nice to see that the LA Sheriff's Department is staying in the news and not for positive public relations type things. So, you know, it's nice to see a little sustained attention on those fuckers.
Yeah, well, I say yes and no. I don't like them being in the news because they're constantly murdering people and shooting people, maiming people, just doing terrible stuff to people. I do like seeing them in the news when one of these dumbasses couldn't get his gun out the holster and shoots himself in the leg. That's hilarious. So, yeah, I mean, I don't like to see them hurting people. They shouldn't even be there. We don't need sheriffs. We got enough pigs already. What do we need sheriffs for? We need literal brown shirt cops. It just doesn't make sense to me.
You know, that's a perfect point, though. It's like, yeah, let's talk about a currency of training with these fucking clowns. So let me get this straight. You're trained to use a sidearm and you haven't got it out of your holster, but yet you fire the weapon. Yeah, sounds like you're really well trained. You've really passed a psych assessment. Like, what the fuck, man?
That's a comedy. Dude's reaching, trying to get out. Blow, shoots himself in the leg. Here's the thing,
so
man. The sheriff's
so scared.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
He's so scared, he's firing the weapon before it's even out.
Oh, no, I think it was a training exercise.
Well, you failed. Go back to fucking Five Guys.
What was he scared of? The timer was going to run out and he couldn't get his gun to shoot fast enough to get the shot off.
You're looking for half points for discharging the weapon.
He discharged it all right. But stupid pig shot himself in the leg. Yeah, I ran into some border patrol agents over the weekend, and even the actual United States Gestapo doesn't wear brown like the sheriffs do.
Yeah,
they wear black like the regular pigs, but these sheriffs are in Nazi brown shirts, proud as hell about it. Doesn't make sense. Like, you could pick any other color for a damn uniform. You're gonna pick Nazi brown. Who the hell thought of that?
there's a fair amount of state patrols that have the tan uniforms as well.
Yeah, I'm sure, but I just don't see them around here as much in L.A. So,
yeah,
when I think Nazi brown, I think of sheriff and highway patrol.
How about CHP? Have they been staying on the fucking freeways this year, or are they still doing the we'll just drive into anybody's jurisdiction we want if we're after somebody?
They have this thing. They're on the streets a lot.
Really?
They have this thing. They have to be like a mile from the freeway or something. So some of them just kind of grift around the freeway entrances and exits, within a mile or two, and just pull people over all over there for little infractions.
They get a mile?
They get some kind of distance, yeah, because I've caught them way away from freeway entrances and exits.
Fuck.
And that's what they tell me. I mean, I guess I should look it up or try to get the information from someone other than one of the pigs. But yeah, that's what they all say. They got freeway entrances, exits, and so many mile or something around it. But
that's so obscene. I don't get that at all, because in the bigger metropolitan cities in Canada, like Vancouver, like the greater Vancouver area has 5 different police forces. And it used to be that if you were in pursuit of somebody crossing into another jurisdiction, which is going across a certain street, if there were no cops from the other jurisdiction waiting there, you had to let that suspect drive in. No problem. You couldn't cross the line, period, ever. Now they've loosened that up a bit, but it has to be by radio. There has to be visual contact with the other jurisdictional force that you just crossed into. It has to be within a kilometer of the border, and a kilometer for you Americans is like 0.6 of a mile.
Yeah, I think according to Hollywood movies, it used to be that way here, or at least it was portrayed as being that way here way back in the day, like those old cop shows and stuff. Yeah. But now what I see is the regular cops. They stuck to a jurisdiction, and then you got the sheriffs, got the county, and then when it gets whatever, the highway patrol pick it up because they state. That's kind of what I think it's like, but I could be wrong on that. I don't really know. All I know is they're brutal, terrible people that need to be abolished.
I think you just explained the difference there, because you're talking about cops that are municipal, you're talking about cops that are county, and then state. You got 3 different levels of government with their own security forces. And here,
military forces.
Yeah, here that just doesn't happen. Like in the Vancouver area I was talking about, Richmond, Surrey, Coquitlam, these are all part of Metro Vancouver, and they have their own cops, but they have a contract with the RCMP, which are the federal police force. But they're the only cops there. Like, we don't have 2 cops out on the streets anywhere in Canada.
How come you don't have pseudo royalty? I mean, because aren't they called Canadian Royal Mounted Police?
Yeah.
Or Royal Canadian Mounted Police, sorry. But what's the royal from?
Because we're part of the Commonwealth. And our official head of state is the Queen of England.
Yeah, y'all need to cut that part out.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Dominionists are like revisionist constitutionalists in the States. It's like that shit is over, man. Move on.
God save the queen. She ain't no human being. Oh man, that's a whole nother show. The Queen. We'd have to get some Europeans on here for that one. So yeah, speaking of crooked piggery and crooked grand juries and all kinds of other stuff, news came out recently that the Breonna Taylor case, the grand jury hearings need to be, they need to be public, because I think it was at least one of the jurors on the grand jury filed a complaint saying the only option they had was wanton endangerment. They had no other charges they could give the guy. They couldn't charge the cops with murder or anything. So they kind of did the most they could do under the circumstances. How dirty is that? And let's think about how many other grand jury trials for these cops that get off, we were probably just lied to. This is probably a common tactic. I'm sure of it now. This isn't the first time ever they gave them one option.
Oh, this is absolutely a common tactic. I mean, this is something else that the media loves to perpetuate. And, let's face it, there's not enough people that really understand how the fucking system works. So, I mean, we have the same problem in Canada. Like, in Canada, a citizen can't walk into a police station and say they want to file charges on somebody. It doesn't work like that here. The only people who can press charges are the cops. You have to convince the cops to press the charge. That's the way it works here. And this whole thing that's happening, every time there's something like this happens and there's no leak, who does the media focus everybody's blame on? The cops, because they're the ones who pulled the trigger. But how many times? I would say 4 out of 5, at least. It's because the district attorney, the lawyer who's supposed to be the one who brings lawbreakers to justice, they're the ones who fail to give the option of accurate criminal charges. So they just, all these right-wingers like to talk about how Congress people aren't the judges. And then when something goes democratically, well, judges aren't lawmakers. They're never happy with it. But this is it in practice. This is somebody who is right-wing by their decisions and pro-Blue Lives Matter, pro-militarism domestically. These are the people who are making the choices to guarantee that these cops can kill people and get away with it.
Did you see the statement by Police Chief Moore, the Los Angeles police chief? He said the officers and their families are scared for their lives because of these protests, and that the officers' voices aren't being heard.
Right.
I think when you have a gun aimed at somebody's head and they know you can kill them and get away with it, your voice is always heard.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The person with the gun, the person with the military weaponry, your voice is being heard. So you need to shut the hell up, because the people whose voices aren't being heard are the people that's out in those streets complaining about you, your terror organization, mass murdering citizens across the country.
Yep. But I mean, this is something else that is allowed and promoted in the media. Doesn't matter what happened. Cop dies, they get the victim viewpoint automatically. Doesn't matter what happened or who they were.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, that's ridiculous. But I mean, where I sit, I recognize it and I discount it. But how many people out there eat it up?
A whole lot. You'd be surprised.
Oh, yeah.
There's just this love for these pigs. I don't get it. Everyone hates them and talks bad about them, but when you talk bad about them for real, then they're like, oh, wait, we support you. Thank you for your service. Blah, 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 whatever. It's stupid, man. I don't understand where that comes from. It's just... I can't even understand it. Go ahead.
It's the ultimate American exceptionalism hypocrisy. Because I was thinking back a couple days ago, under some sort of external motivation. I can't really, remember what it was exactly. We'll get to sponsors in a bit. But, I can remember hearing stories in the American media in Iraq in the last decade when they were trying to have what they were calling free elections. And there would be districts or towns out in the countryside, usually around Tikrit, where Saddam Hussein was from, that there would be some faction that would be threatening the vote. Not necessarily saying that we're going to kill people who vote for Team A because we're Team B, but, it's like they're flexing. You can connect the dots. And that was like, we can't tolerate this. This is absolutely ridiculous. And then think about things like the election for the New York City mayor, the election for, state house. If a police union has a problem with a candidate, the exact same thing happens. But somehow it's not, using force to influence a free election because it's in the U.S. It's not in Iraq. I really don't see a difference. And the thing is, over in Iraq, all the people on the street, they know oh yeah, if these guys want to fuck around, they can fuck around. And everybody knows that in the United States when a police union says it. But, Yeah,
man, I'm like at a loss for words on this because the police unions have to go. But we have to make them go. We have to be like, as long as there's police unions, there's going to be murderers riding around on streets able to get away with another murder and another murder and another murder. These roaming terrorist gangs all over the place. And they're using our tax dollars to kill us with and to brutalize us and to just terrorize the streets 24/7.
And to pay the lawsuits with.
Yeah, it was just, we got to pay for our own. Yeah, that's another, we've talked about that before. But for anybody who doesn't know, when the police murder somebody and get off, that's the criminal case. You have a civil case too. And in the civil case, many more times than the criminal case says the cops are guilty. The civil case finds the pigs guilty. And they give these giant multi-million-dollar payouts to the victims' families or the victims if they're still alive. And you would think maybe it comes out of the police pension, the police budget, their militarized funding for the next year. But no, that's untouched. We pay an extra, we pay tax dollars. It comes out of our tax dollars separate from everything. It doesn't hurt them one bit. But it's money that we can be doing, we could be making streets not so bumpy. We can be having safer lights in areas, more parks, more playgrounds, better stuff in schools for, so teachers don't have to buy supplies with their own money. We can give people raises. We could do so much stuff with this money, but we're paying out what? We're paying it to victims of people that police unjustifiably murdered. Time and time again, millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars all across the United States, and that's disgusting. There's a rant for you.
Right on. And I think the biggest thing to stop police political power would be to have, there's always got to be a first jurisdiction. Somebody's got to do it, and that gets the ball rolling. But they got to pass a law where all lawsuits for, unlawful conduct by the police comes out of the police union's funds. They're like the fucking Teamsters. They got more than enough money. It's time they paid for their own actions. That would be like to make a metaphor, how come it is that in the U.S., doctors all need individual insurance? Because they're on the hook, because it's their hands. Why isn't it like that with cops?
It should be. It really
no
should
doubt.
be.
No doubt, man.
I mean,
but
people
there has
say,
to
why
be...
don't they just get insurance, or why aren't cops? Why don't they have to be insured? Why can they kill and kill and kill again and brutalize and do stuff? Like, if they had insurance, they'd be too high a risk, and their deductibles would be like insane, and they wouldn't be able to be a cop anymore.
Well, that's the same thing in the medical world down there. If a doctor loses a big malpractice suit, who's going to license him again? He's fucked. Find a new job.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be with cops. At least that should be an option. In the land of the legal system, it's amazing that somehow the cops avoid that sort of professional culpability, that people with far more education and far more money invested in their career, they have to answer to it. Pigs don't. Something wrong with that picture.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this forever. It's just, it's just, I don't know what it's going to take to make people see this. We got these elected. We were talking about this earlier before the show. These people, they elect these people, and they go and basically vote for us by whatever them and their party decides. We don't get a vote on it, most of the stuff. They push through bills, and why don't we get to vote on each one of these bills? Why don't we get to vote on who's going to have a job for life on the Supreme Court? Why don't we get to vote on every single thing? And why doesn't each person get one vote on all of these things? I'd go and vote. That makes sense, but voting for people that don't have your best interest at mind, fascist, warmonger scum that want these cops militarized to protect their interests and their donors' interests, that's not democracy at all, man. That's something else.
Correct. Or, sorry, I should do what you did for me last show. Correctamundo.
Yeah.
No, that's spot on, man. And, you mentioned the settlements. I hope everybody's aware that the city of Louisville has already settled with the Taylor family for $12 million.
If you're not guilty, would you pay somebody $12 million?
Think about the speed with which this was done. And now think about why the DA would not include criminal death charges as an option. Because if they can't get it into criminal court now, we're never going to find out. Because they didn't get that $12 million without an NDA. There's no way.
Yeah.
So criminal court is the only chance to get it all out in the open now.
Let's solve this problem once and for all. I think the doctors should get a really powerful union, and when malpractice suit happens, they say, no big deal. You take a 2-week vacation, go golfing, do your doctor stuff, come on back, and everything's going to be okay. And we'll just pay these people some money. And even better yet, we'll just, if everyone's still complaining, we'll just transfer you to another hospital. You can murder people over there. That's ridiculous. Why do we do it with these cats?
Exactly.
And doctors are smart people. Pigs are the dumbest of the dumb. They don't hire smart people to be pigs. If you don't believe that, listen back about 20 or 15 shows. We did a whole thing about it.
Yeah.
Or just look it up online. Yeah, there's been lawsuits about it. They got the dumbest of the dumbest of the dumb. Subservient idiots who follow any stupid order they're given. Blindly. That's a cop. That's what we're dealing with out here.
And that's exactly why they hire all the discharge grunts from the U.S. Army.
Exactly. Did you see that pig in downtown L.A. with the shield hitting a journalist, chopping at him into the concrete with the thing over and over again?
Yeah.
How sick is that? How sick is that?
That was like WWE that was not fake.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that was LA Sheriff, right?
Or LAPD. I'm not sure. I think it was LAPD, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, whatever. It was there.
I mean, there's so many videos of these cops just attacking people protesting. And journalists, they've been going after journalists. One place said they were going after the jail, I can't think right now. The jail support.
Yep.
So like when people get arrested, you have jail support, that you have numbers you call, and they try to get everybody's name and information and get the people out, or at least know what's going on with the people that got arrested in a protest. The cops attacked them first and arrested them, so they didn't have jail support.
That's a military doctrine doing stuff like that.
Of course it is.
There's no public security doctrine involved there. That's a military operation. That's exactly what the agency and contractors have been doing in the Middle East for 20 fucking years now.
Yeah.
You know, it's what they do in Egypt. It's what they do in Turkey. So, America, fuck yeah.
Yeah, all growing up in this country, you're told about how horrible these other places are and the terrible things they do. Then you say, wait a minute, we're doing things equally as terrible and maybe worse. Why is that okay? And America, fuck yeah. I was reading the chat, but yeah, and they just, it's like, how come it's okay? It just doesn't make any sense, man. It's like, it's okay if all these people do one thing from this street, but you know, it's gangbanging. Back to that. It's okay if this gang does it, but the same thing with the police. All you gangs out there can't do this, but we can. The same thing here. All you countries can't do this because that would be horrible, but if we do it, it's for liberty and justice and God and country and whatever else. The same thing they tell people on their side.
Yeah.
So you got that country doing things for their God and their country, and this country doing the same things for their God and their country, and both countries looking at each other doing the same exact thing, talking about how horrible is that? We can't let that happen. We might have to just bomb them all to hell.
Manufacturing consent.
It's a sick joke. Why don't these people see it all around the world? I don't get it. People ain't that dumb. They're not. They just have to think a little.
Well, I think more and more what we're moving towards in the West is what happened over time in East Germany, where, you know, everybody knew that there were informants everywhere. Everybody knew it. It was just a part of life. And they, you know, behaved accordingly. Of course, the big mouths always continue to get caught. That'll never change anywhere. But, you know, people adapted. And I think there's a lot of people that are moving into that frame of thinking now. It's become pretty obvious to them in everyday life that nothing's like it used to be. And it's got nothing to do with the pandemic. It's just maybe made it more obvious to everybody. But I think the U.S. is becoming more like East Germany was in the 80s, where everybody knew everything the government said was bullshit, when everybody knew that you had to look out for yourself and the people you trust, you worked with, you know what I mean? I think, and it did bear results at the end. You know, at least they weren't as unprepared as some other countries were for when the Iron Curtain fell. But I think that's kind of the direction people are moving. And I think it's just a social, natural thing. That's all. I don't know if you can accelerate it. I guess with some really big events happening, it probably would. But otherwise, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. So, did you see the Nazis get the car running at them for once? Somebody plowed a car through some Nazis over the weekend. I'm trying to think where it was. But yeah, it was funny. They seemed so outraged about it. Like it was such a horrible, terrible, terroristic kind of thing.
And how long ago now?
It was in Portland. It was in Portland because they were the ones with all the guns, the paintball guns and real guns and all the bats and stuff. And the car just went right through them. And I think it's at 102 or 4. There was an article came out talking about this. Times the Nazis or these MAGA terrorist fools ran cars, and cops included in that too, ran cars through protesters for no reason, trying to kill or hurt them. And I guess now the other side has won. But yeah, it's not fun when you're looking down the license plate of a car trying to run you down. It's all fun and games when it's your people. They don't see that, man. They stupid. Like anything they do can be done back to them. Their problem is they listen to Trump and these Republicans who are all saying these are Democrats out there. No, the Democrats are the ones that are sitting at home being like, we're going to vote for Biden and praise the Lord, it's going to be great again. Just like Obama, but Biden. That's what they're doing. The Democrats ain't caring. They're saying vote, 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 vote. Vote for our guy. These are people that care about their communities. These are actual heroes in the street. For the most part.
Well, like you said, this is like extra. Look at this terrorist act when it happens to them.
Yeah, but the thing is, they think if you look at it like Democrats and you're like, oh, these hippie, peace-loving jackasses just want to vote. And they don't care about if they vote for a fascist. They're not, as long as it's not our fascist. So they don't look at it, and they're usually against guns and stuff. They don't realize we the cats out here, we got what you got. And maybe more. They don't seem to get that. It's just we're not psychopathic terrorists. We're trying to keep ourselves out of jail because, how it is in real life is they can attack us all day. We attack back. It's like, oh, my God. Arrest them, lock them away, kill them.
Well, yeah, that's the issue that I'm speaking on, like it happens to them once every 2 years. And, oh, my God, something's got to be done. But yet, how long ago was Heather Heyer? Like, fuck off, man. But this is a problem of the way your messaging matrix works in the United States. I mean, when you were talking, I thought about one of the most famous quotes from Joseph Goebbels. And he said, accuse others of that of which you are guilty. And every authoritarian government strictly follows that doctrine. Everything that they do, they accuse other people of doing.
That's on everything they do. And we've talked about this, I think, a week or two ago, even a little bit. But this is something even different. These people are taking something they supposedly hated because it was done by ISIS a lot. And then sometime around Standing Rock, they're running through people. And now they want to legislate and make it legal. In all these different little jurisdictions.
Mm-hmm.
Tucker Carlson's the one who's responsible for making it a big thing. With his Daily Caller putting those videos with the comedy running down protesters, comically making it look comical to these sick people, right?
Yep.
and then takes it down after Heather Heyer gets murdered. And there's still people to this day, these Nazi scum, that celebrate her death like it's like so funny. And Fields is a hero and stuff. Wait, where's Chris Cantwell? The crying Nazi. I hear he's going to jail for a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it's looking that way. Well, I can remember once back in the day watching a live stream that he was doing from somewhere in Connecticut. And it was back in the day where there was a lot of shit going on. And he was out in the street and there was a curfew on. And all of a sudden he ran into like 4 cops out on patrol. And he fucking little girl turtled so fast. And he broke down so completely because they pulled their weapons on him. And he just shit his fucking pants. And I never forgot that. And I've never listened to a word he said after that. You know, that's who he is. And another thing, where's Molyneux these days?
Wow. Yeah, that dude disappeared quick. Didn't he look kind of like a bootleg William Shakespeare?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know what if Trump loses, a lot of these people aren't going to get Fox deals or Breitbart deals, like the smaller, you know, the smaller ones. And unfortunately, a lot of these black people aren't going to be needed anymore for a while. So, like Candace Owens maybe get a show. What do you think Diamond and Silk's going to do? You think they're going to be writing for some news? I don't think so. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to have a couple. You got to keep your tokens here. But other than that, these people are going to be like out of work in a big way. I mean, I'm sure they're all going to go straight to a Patreon account trying to donate to whatever they're doing. But
well, I bet you when that happens, Sarah Palin's phone will be ringing a lot for advice.
Well, the thing is, these people are like about a person. They're not about a country. They're not about patriotism. They're about Trump. So the thing is, once he's gone, I mean, are they all going to go to NBC and he's going to get a new show and they're all going to be like commentators on it? I don't think he's going to take them all with him. I don't think he's going to take any of them with him. This is like a one-time thing and they're trying to milk it for all it's worth as fast as they can, and they're hoping he gets 4 more years. Because a lot of people are going to be like sitting there like, oh no, what do I do now? I'm like a has-been.
Yeah, well, this is how the entire country now operates. I mean, that's Wall Street. You just said what Wall Street does in about 20 seconds.
Wall Street is irrelevant to the average person in the United States.
Well, so is the presidency.
Exactly.
So, you know, they're a lot more connected than people like to admit.
Yeah, because they'd be like, the economy's booming, Wall Street's doing great, stocks are going up, but everyone's like, yeah, but I ain't got a raise, I don't have a job, I don't have this, you know, it's weird. It's weird how this stuff fluctuates in people's lives, you know. I didn't see a decrease in homelessness when Wall Street did better.
Went up, if anything.
Yeah, so it doesn't really make sense why we should care what the Dow Jones Industrial Average is. Who cares? I'm not going to say it, but, you know.
Yeah.
Wall Street can maybe, like, you know, have a plane hit it or something.
That's an idea.
Yeah, we need something like that to happen, but more permanent. Where the aliens with this hit a spaceship into it, that should end it.
I mean, it's been a long time since anything that happened in the U.S. actually, like, truly surprised me. There's just nothing surprises me anymore. I mean, that's not good. You know, like this shit with replacing Ruth Bader Ginsburg in less than 90 days. Like, no, just no. Nobody ever. Like, if you asked all the founding fathers if you thought that would be cool, they'd all say, fuck no. So there's, from no angle, I see this being acceptable, moral, ethical, or legal.
Yeah, legal. I can go with you with the founding fathers. Moral or ethical, I don't think they have any say in either one of those.
Well, I mean, on this
those
issue,
were some savage. Yeah. Okay, on this issue, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about
She's,
a lifestyle question here.
Yeah, she's a disgusting person who wants a theocracy, just kind of like Mike Pence.
Yep.
I don't understand why they would put those people in politics. Like you'll talk, like you said last week, you'll talk crap about any other religion, any other country running their politics, you know, with a theocracy, religion running their politics. But here, one special religion always seems to think it's okay if they're the ones doing it.
Yep. But that's the way it is in every theocracy. I mean, it's not like there are no Christians in Iran, because there certainly is.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying
they got no fucking say.
But you complain about, they'll have Sharia law over there, but we want our religious law here, which is basically Sharia law without the clothing.
Yep.
If you go by your book, and if you're really going to do it right, then you're going to have to deal with some changes in your clothing and style and everything else too. Yeah, follow your whole book or don't. They never read their book, Glenn.
Well, they prefer the pop-up version anyway.
I'm just saying, you'd be surprised how many religious people, well, I wouldn't say religious people, but Christian people have never read the book that they think is the inspired word of God Almighty. They didn't think it was important to take the time to actually read the whole thing.
Well, how many of these people have ever read one book completely? This is the issue, you know?
Even if they have, they haven't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why that seems
Harry
to
Potter
be.
don't count.
Like Muslims read the Quran, they memorize the Quran, they know the Quran. Christians will memorize verses
that work for them.
Cherry-picked verses that have been handed down, you know?
Yeah, the ones that work for them.
Yeah, if I had a religion, I'd make you memorize it. That makes more sense. Like, this is my inspired word, bitches. You should have this in your head and heart at all times. Not just selective, you know? Yeah, I don't know what these people be thinking. But good thing they don't, or we still have slavery and everything else. Oh, man.
As long as it makes money, that's the new religion.
Well, slavery always makes money for the people on the good side of it, I guess.
The winning side.
The winning side. There's no good side, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I am enjoying seeing media in the U.S. having the balls to show more stuff about people booing Trump's fuck-ups. It's starting to come out, and, you know, I'm seeing a pattern, you know. Like I've said before on this show, American culture loves nothing more than building people up just to tear them down. It's part of the game. There's two sides, and we have to have both, and we're going to get it. And I think Trump has pissed off and fucked over enough people that's what's going to happen. He's going to get uglier and uglier the closer it gets to the election. I mean, after us tonight is a debate. No, I ain't watching it. So, you know, good luck.
I want it to turn into a fist fight on the stage, an elderly fist fight, elderly drug-induced dementia-filled fist fight. That would be awesome. What do you think the odds are I'm going to get my wish?
Infinite.
I like that answer.
It just ain't gonna happen.
If it does, I'm going to Skype you when you're asleep tonight and laugh at you and hang up.
All right. That's acceptable if that actually does happen. It's not out of line.
Yeah.
But
I won't know
I
till
mean,
after because I'm not watching it. But if that happens, I'm sure it'll be all over social media, and I won't even have to look at it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing now, too. You don't even have to watch it. All you have to do is have Twitter on. You'll know exactly what the fuck's going on.
Biden's going to be like, what did you say to me? Corn Pop taught me how to fight. You want to get down, buddy? Trump be like, oh, yeah, take his shirt off.
Oh, God.
Oh, it'll be beautiful. And they just start going at it, hitting each other in the face like those 1920s fighters where their hands are in front of their face and they're jumping up and down. Oh, man. Trump's hair get knocked off. Biden gets socked in the nose, eye or something. Man.
Well, Trump will definitely go to kick him in the nuts.
Of course he will. Trump's going to throw sand in his eye, too.
You know, this is more and more WWE all the time, the way you see it.
Man, I mean, come on. It's entertainment at this point. Politics is a joke in this country.
Well, we have the uber heel who has the belt, and we have the face who's back after hiatus, and he's got all the fucking heat. This is wrestling.
Fascist versus fascist. The bash between the fash. Oh, man.
Bash for the fash on the beach.
Yeah, you got, yeah.
It sounds WCW.
I hate them both so much, man. I wish nothing but death to Biden and Trump. I really don't. I hate them. They're both so terrible. They're both responsible for so many deaths, so much terror in the world.
Well, they're the ends of this generation of lifetime politicians. So, you know, people like Biden and Pelosi and McConnell and Schumer, they just can't do this forever. Not everybody is Arlen Specter or that old son of a bitch from South Carolina who is still a senator at like 100 fucking years old. You know, these people have to die off.
These people need to stop voting for the same person all these years in a row.
Well, that too, but I mean, the longer they're here, the longer people can hear their bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So, I mean, that's how things work. Generations change. And this is, you know, in some ways, this is like Gorbachev. Everybody around him was like 80 fucking years old. And it's like, that was it. That was finally enough. And it all collapsed. And I can see hints of that in the U.S. government.
Yeah, I'm already hearing the Democrats who were swearing up and down I was an idiot. So about, 3 or 4 months ago when I was saying Biden, if he gets elected, will just, if Trump gets charged with anything, he'll give him a pardon, full pardon, whatever. Now the Democrats are like, Biden's going to go in and he'll pardon Trump, but he'll be okay because we don't have to deal with him anymore.
Oh, man. But hey, you know.
Here's the other thing. I don't know if you notice this because you're not in this country, this shithole country. But what happened was, in 2016, like always, I'm saying both parties are the same. Don't vote, revote. It's stupid. Why choose a fascist over another? Why choose a lesser of two evils? They're both evil, right? People are like, you're stupid. These parties aren't the same. They're so different. What's wrong with you? And then Trump gets elected, and they're like, both parties are the same. Most people start going, yeah, you're right. They are. Now that the election came back over, it's like, you're crazy. These parties, the same people, man. I got this one person on Twitter that sends me these 5 to 10 tweet responding to themselves in this big line rants about why they choose Biden, and I'm just a psychopathic drug addict who can't see the difference between Trump will make it like Nazi Germany and Biden will just be mean, I guess, or whatever, you know. It's like burning your finger with a match or boiling your hand, or it's like cutting off your head as opposed to just hurting yourself, you know what I mean? And I'm like, you really must not care about anybody but yourself. Because they're both fascists. The one you don't want is the one that's going to attack Americans first. They're both going to attack people. They're both going to murder people. They're both going to lock people up and cage them, brutalize them all around the world. But you're worried about this guy because he attacks you. There's a possibility he may get to you quicker than the other one who's got to attack the whole world. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's pretty selfish. I choose for nobody to have to go through this. Nobody to be in concentration camps. Nobody to be locked up in cages for no apparent reason other than they're poor. Nobody to be carpet bombed in different countries around the world and have troops coming in to slaughter them. I choose none of that, here or abroad. You made the choice. You said, I want Biden because he's not going to attack my people. And I'm assuming this person is white, United States citizen. I could be wrong, but they definitely have that mentality.
Well, I think there's only so much of it that is directly, still by coincidence, but, there's evidence connected to whites. I think there's just an awful lot of overall percentage of Americans of all races that just have this belief that society has been pushing on them their entire lives, that kind of thing can never happen here. And they just accept it. It's part of their core programming. And it's getting thinner and thinner all the time. And I think a big thing about the appeal of Biden to Xers, millennials, and even younger is that they see in him a restoration of that core belief, which has no real basis, but they want to believe it. And with Trump in charge, it's hard to believe that as an American, these things just won't happen here. They're a lot closer now than they've ever been. And I think that's the big appeal of Biden. He moves the clock back a minute from midnight, if you use the old nuclear watchdog analogy.
Yeah, because if Biden gets elected, these people won't be out in the streets. Even if he does the same exact thing Trump would do.
Yes.
They won't be out in the streets. They'll be like, it's great now. It's great now. And they'll be like, oh, there's no more racism and this and that. They won't be out in the streets because the president's not praising racists publicly. And yeah, so maybe some of these white people that might be out in the streets now might not be then.
Yep.
And they're safer then, right? They're not going to be brutalized by these cops. They're not going to be attacked and have to deal with all this anymore. Which begs the question, why are they doing it now?
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. That's what politics has become. It's just this belief system that they're trying to make into an all or nothing proposition. You can't just select parts of our utopia. You're all in or get the fuck out. And none of it's based on reality, but geez, we got to pick one. Okay. I mean, like you said, if Biden wins, a lot of the white middle class will stay home because Trump's gone. Did anything change? Well, we don't know. We assume it will, and that's it. That's where they stop. And that don't cut it, man. You can't have a democracy like that.
Yep. Yeah, they stuck on the wrong things, man. Medicare for all is garbage. And they're like, well, at least it's better than nothing. That's what we talked about that a week or two ago. Somebody said it's better than nothing. A lot of things are better than nothing. It doesn't mean you want it. You want what's good for everybody. We want at least what Canada has. Minimum. They're going to be like, oh, no. Better than nothing. That's what we want.
Which in most parts of Canada is under a pretty strong attack these days.
Yeah.
In the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, these greedy rich people are everywhere. And they don't care about anything but themselves. And making more money no matter who has to die for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it hasn't mattered to this point. So just because there's this virus around, you think we're going to take a break? Like, I don't think so. That's their mentality. But we have a different mentality. And that leads me to today's sponsors. Yeah?
Yeah, do you want me to go first?
Sure, go ahead.
My sponsor is Wedding Cake, Flour, and I'm still on the GDP Stizzies. I'm always kind of on the GDP Stizzies. So yeah, Granddaddy Purple Stizzy, and the flour is the wedding cake. It's fire though. It's really good.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah.
Well, today's Canadian sponsor is a very nice strain of Do-si-do.
Nice. I had some of that a couple weeks ago.
Yes, it's pretty good. Can't complain.
I'm trying to remember what it was. It was Do-si-do hybrid. It was called something else though. Oh, I can't remember. It was a really cool name. If it comes to me, I'll think of it, but I can't remember it right now. It was a weird but cool name.
Right on.
So yeah, things are all screwed up. Do you even think this whole debate thing, like, doesn't matter? Like, everyone kind of knows who they're going to vote for. I don't think there's anybody that's like, maybe if Trump just does this debate and doesn't say any racist stuff. Or, I don't know. I mean, do you think anyone's really on the fence? Like, they all know what they're going to do, just like I know what I'm going to do. None of the above.
Well, it's quite a while ago now that political debates like this were no longer about a debate. They're about establishing a brand. That's all they're about. It doesn't really matter what the other guy says. They know what they are going to say before they say it. It's not like there's going to be any surprise questions. There are not going to be any people they didn't know would be there. And that's all it's about. I think the whole purpose of people watching is for their bias confirmation. That's all it is. They just want to feel that they made the right choice. That's all.
You know what's sick is Trump asked Biden, well, he didn't really, but he says his people asked Biden if you take a drug test, and Biden said no. Well, here's the thing. In this country, a whole lot of jobs, a lot less important than President of the United States, require you to take a drug test in order to get the job. No, I'm not in agreement with that in any way, but, it's kind of like these feds and these scum people let it happen. So if you're going to be president, why don't they both sit down, each one of them call their own personal doctor to come and give the other one a drug test? Show the results right there on air and let people see what's up. Because I suspect maybe neither one of them will come up too clean.
If Biden's team would have asked the question, it would have been the same answer. So
I understand that, but my point is, this is the most important job, according to everybody, and they're not even required a drug test. They're not required to do all this stuff. You work at a fast food place, you'll get required to do some of this stuff. But the president, not so much. If you work at any tech company or something, you got certain things you have to do for security and other things. They're not required. Just vote them in. I don't know. It just seems like you're the ultimate public servant, supposedly. So you need to serve the public, and you need to constantly show the public you're not some kind of deranged dope fiend.
Well, see, that's what Trump's would show. So, but I
suspect both would show that in some way.
I would be willing to venture that anything that Trump tests positive for is recreational. anything that Biden tests positive for is 80% therapeutic.
80%, I got you. That's funny.
You know, so I mean, this is such a fucking dead cat issue. Like, what does this matter at this point? It matters absolutely nothing.
But that's my whole point. The dude, he never offered one. I mean, why don't people see that? Trump didn't say, I'm going to take a drug test. I'm going to show you I'm not anything. But is he going to do it? No. He didn't even do that. He just knew he was going to say no, so he gets out of it.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
if Biden was smart, he should have been like, yeah, my doctor's going to come and test both of us.
Oh, fuck.
But these people, they're so sick. They're so disgusting.
Okay, well, no, if you think about it like that, the first thing that I thought of was, okay, their communication teams are going to look at it. And Biden's team is like, how much value will we get out of this? You know, with gift in kind of media exposure and shit like that. And they probably determined that because it came from Trump, they weren't going to win that contest. So they said no. That's a corporate campaign way of thinking about it.
Yeah. That's all they are, is little corporate entities that serve bigger corporate entities.
Well, I think the other problem with the presidential circus taking too much of the heat is what people should be paying attention to. And that's a few fucking people in the Senate got to go. Like right now. They got to go.
Yeah, you're more liberal with that few than I am. I say all of them should go.
Well, I know, but I mean, they're not all going. That's a reality.
They need to all go, though. They need to all go. We need to just clear it out. Like, nope, sorry. If you've ever worked in our government that's failed before, you can't work in it again. The new government, we don't want it to fail, and you're all a bunch of failures.
Well, on the ballot, there's no box that says dissolve the Senate in 2020.
Well, maybe there should be.
Yes, there should, but that's for another day.
You know, why doesn't Kanye West work on stuff like this?
Oh, President Ye, 46. Yeah, fuck off.
You know what? I would just, if he won by some crazy, weird, unthought of, could you imagine?
No.
It would be the most terrible and funniest thing ever. It'd be like any reality TV star can just be president of the United States now. Just go get a show. You have people in other countries trying to get hit shows so they can become president in 4 years.
I could see the Dow going to zero.
Like, who comes after him? Paris Hilton? Which reality TV star? Oh, man. It's no. So... What's that? I can't believe it's not Butter guy, Fabio. How about him? He could be president.
No, he wasn't born in the U.S. He can't be president.
Oh, that sucks. Him and Arnold, huh?
California.
Yeah, he was trying to change the Constitution. He wasn't trying to. He was looking into the legality of changing the Constitution so he could run as president. He screwed California up, and then he wanted to screw the United States up.
Yeah, you translate that, and it means he called in all the markers he had, and he didn't have enough political clout to go there.
Yeah, us Californians were like, we had one actor turn president, governor, actor turn president, destroy a whole bunch of stuff. We're not going to go for two, you idiot. No,
it's not happening. Let's see. No, it should be somebody like... how about a talk show host?
Tommy Chong.
No, that won't happen. How about President Drew Barrymore?
Wait a minute. That's she's an actress.
Yes.
She's like what? What's she in? So I know the name. I just can't place it. I know the name.
She was in Charlie's Angels. She did movies with Jim Carrey. She was married to Tom Green.
Okay.
And she was way back. She was in a movie. I can't remember which one. She was a child star that turned into somebody. And the name.
Yeah. I know now. I just could not place it when you said it.
But she's got a bullshit talk show now, so why not her? What the hell?
Yeah, there you go. Whoever, anybody. Like, it really doesn't matter. That's the thing. You just got to be an authoritarian, fascist, jerk-faced liar. And you don't have to be a good liar anymore. You can just say one thing and 5 minutes later say the complete opposite, and then have your people go out and say how you didn't mean it or you were just joking, and it's all good, man. So, oh my God, it's so ridiculous. These people have let their whole country turn into the laughingstock of the world for real. Like, it's been the laughingstock of the world, but it was still like the number one importer of terror around the world. Now it's the biggest laughingstock in the world because they have a clown running it, and we're terrorizing our own citizens. So, you know, maybe some of the other countries get a break for a minute.
But then some get a...
I was going to say, we also have 800 military bases around the world, so maybe not.
Yeah, I was going to say, and some get a brand new focus put upon them as well.
Yeah.
You know, and all the shit going on now with these so-called peace deals between Israel and Arab nations is nothing but a big fucking money circle jerk. It's all it is. And
there was an article that just came out about how Trump is just using the Christian audience. We've said that before, but they actually had Trump's aides coming out talking about it. Did you read that?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, like his aides were talking, like ex-Trump aides and people who worked in the White House were talking about how Trump met with these big TV televangelist preachers at some prayer meeting. And he kept being like, what a grift they have. These guys have the best scam in the world. Game recognizes game. And, man, they're like, he was just like in awe of their hustle. These are hustlers. These are people like me. You know what I mean?
Right on. Game knows game. That's hilarious.
He was just going on and on about it. And then he would just be like, you know, like, this is my scam. I'm going to get these people behind me. And they really are, man.
Wow.
They sold out everything they supposedly, quote unquote, believed in for their religion for one dude. Like, they were like, everything we've ever said about morality and this and that, out the window. Trump trumps our deity. That's basically what they've said.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
but again,
the QAnons with the Jesus and Trump saving the world, you got that wacky stuff going on too.
I mean, these are just all such textbook indications of fascism. You know, I mean, there's no fucking surprise here, everybody.
But the people in this country don't even know what fascism is.
Well, that's when it works the best.
He's like, they're about to find out if they haven't already.
Well, that's when it works the best, you know? Millions of Germans had no idea what was going to happen. They were just really pissed off.
You got these jackasses being like, I'm anti-fascist. Think about it, dummy. Think about it, dummy.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Two antis makes a fascist.
Yep.
You're all the fascists. I'm anti-fascist. Like, you just, what is it? They say this stuff, man. It blows my mind. Anti-fascist. Just call yourself a fascist and be done with it. Why are they so scared of the word? They live it. Use the word.
Well, I mean, I've never, ever had a Facebook account. And some of the shit I see floating around on that platform, I have no idea who would want to be on that platform. It's just cement head universe.
You know what I'm wondering? Do you know that dude Andy No or Now or whatever his Nazi name is, the Asian Nazi?
Yeah.
quote unquote journalist. There's another dude now that's kind of like a bootleg version of him. He's got like half the followers and he tries to be like him. But yeah, he's probably making some money at that grift too. But where was he at when the Proud Boys were beating up black journalists and torturing and terrorizing people in the streets? Where's all the videos about how terrible these people are? It's like not a video from him on none of this. It's still like anti-fascist attack this person. These Antifa terrorists are doing this and that. I infiltrated the Antifa terrorist group to show the violence that was going on. I mean, like, come on, man. But you hang with these guys. These are your friends. These are the guys you made the kill list for.
Yep.
Why don't you show them, why do other people got to shoot stuff that's happening in your city with your friends? All of a sudden your cameras don't work? You're just as bad as the cops. That's not a real journalist.
No.
And this is exactly why I don't call myself a journalist. But if you're claiming to be a journalist, you're making money as a journalist, you're begging for money on Patreon as a journalist, a white supremacist admirer, an Asian who will say anything against anybody to make his white supremacist buddies happy. I don't know, or to make $1 off it. Whatever he's there for, where was he, man? Why wasn't he shaming these people?
Yeah.
They beat up a journalist. He only had milk put on him. They were kicking this dude in the face. Where was he? I'm just wondering, where are these people when this stuff happens? Then a car runs through him and it's like, we're victims, oh my God. It just blows my mind. I don't know. How come these idiotic people can't see this?
Well, it's kind of like the same reason that,
No, they need to wake up. We have Google now.
That's true.
You can look things up and see every side of the story and see research done on things. You don't have to take Fox News or CNN or MSN or whatever the hell you're watching side of the story. I could add in all them quote unquote liberal progressive YouTube, the Young Turks and David Pakman. That dude's a fascist. I don't know. He supports it. But yeah, all these people, man, they all will debate quote unquote Nazis, which is basically giving white supremacists and fascists airtime on their huge stations, and their huge podcasts, and they've all given these people voices in the name of debates. Why would you debate a Nazi? Why would you have a Nazi on your show talking about anything? That's validating the Nazi. That's giving him airtime. So he's reaching other people all over the world because of these jackasses. And now they're on here talking about Biden. We have to go with Biden. You might not like him, but we got to go with him. Shut the hell up. It's just, they're so dumb.
Well,
we need a revolution.
The United States culture has not created a generation of people suddenly that is more interested about values. They're interested about worth, about accumulating worth. And all these people, no matter where they are on the spectrum, are all doing this because it makes their bank account better. And as long as this Nazism is profitable, it's not going anywhere.
It's only, we said this, I think we were talking about this earlier, it's going to be profitable until Trump's out of office.
Hopefully.
And it'll still be profitable amongst a small group. But the people who are going to be losing out on the Nazis not being profitable, like we were talking about, will be the black people and the Asian people and the Latino people who support Trump and thereby, hang with Nazis and support him, because they're useless after that. Unless they get a show on one of these big networks, like we said before, which very few of them will, they're not going to be valid anymore. So it might be like We Are Change, where they were out in the streets with Occupy and pretending to be, regular activists, and then when the money went to the fascist side, they all went fascist. You got Tim Pool, you got Cassandra, you got that main guy, what was his name?
Who?
We Are Change. They all turn fascist. That's what I'm saying. They just go where the money is.
Yeah.
And when things come back, when things come back and a Democrat gets in and everyone's like, oh, the world is good again because we're not going to pay attention to the concentration camps because a kinder, gentler fascist isn't messing with us right now. And then they might come back and get involved in another thing, and I hope nobody takes them back. I hope y'all smarter than that. Let them stay with the fascists on that side. Let them be the Nazis and let them stay there. Let them make no money. One of them lost his account, was crying. And I thought it was hilarious. How will I survive? I'm a writer. You stay where the money is, though. You were all with Anonymous doing good things, and then all of a sudden you want to go hang with fascists under the free speech banner. Go be a racist, man. It's just silly. It's stupid. We can't let these people back in. We got to ostracize them forever. Luke, there's the other one. So it's Cassandra, Tim Pool, Luke, all those We Are Change assholes. All of them. They're worthless. And when they try to come crawling back, don't let them. Don't let them, because they're not on our side. They'll flip on us again if they did it once. All of them.
Well, under that scenario, I think it would be very, again, I'm taking a corporate look at it first of all, a PR look at it. I think it would be interesting to see, let's say Biden wins, etc. Let's say even Biden wins and the Senate flips. Then what are they going to do? And if they try and come back, it's going to depend how they're placed. If they're given an exposure that's near the top of the noise machine immediately, then that means there's still money behind them and they're still working for the same people.
Either way, what they're going to do is they're going to find a topic like how QAnon uses to help the children to get people sucked in, because everyone's like, I want to go fight for the children. Mm-hmm. So they got a lot of anons that way too, unfortunately. Because of op Death Eaters and stuff, people start saying, we want to help the children, and they just get caught up in those little wormholes of constant barrages of BS propaganda and misinformation.
Yeah. Facebook again.
Yeah, whatever. But so I think there's going to be stuff like that. They're going to find a hot topic that everyone's kind of like a war or something, like peace. We don't want to go to this war or whatever. And then they'll jump on that and try to worm their way in through something like that. Whatever it is. It won't, I'm just guessing. That's the way I would see it happen.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I think the three people you mentioned, they're going to need support to be presented to a new audience, because they can't cross the fence again in the world they're in now. It ain't going to work. And that takes money. Yeah. So they may come to the end of the road, or they may just reveal themselves for what they really are.
They've already done that.
Oh, maybe not. That's the question.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like the ones like the Young Turks and all them, they ride that Democrat line hard and they pretend to be something different once in a while, but when it comes down to it, they're always with the Democrats no matter what. They're shields for the Democrats.
Yep.
And, Fox and Breitbart and all those, they'll probably tone it down. And obviously they won't be on Trump anymore. Once Trump is gone, the Patriots will have to come back to their conservative version of the United States. I call them Patriots because that's what they call themselves, and it's funny. But right now, they're just like, they're worshiping Trump. They could care less about the United States. It's about this dude. So yeah, once that's gone, like we terror attacks are going to kick up. They've been getting worse. These cats are showing up to protest, attacking people more and more. You got this little bastard comes, murders 3 people, and they're like, well, he's fearing for his life and standing his ground, and he's a hero. No, he was a terrorist. He was just a small young boy, 17 years old. It's disgusting what they're doing. Everybody who runs down protesters in a car now fears for their life. They didn't have a choice. I would have done the same thing. They're normalizing terrorism, and it's going to happen more up to the election. And if Trump loses, I don't know what's going to happen. If he wins, it's going to keep going. They're not going to stop being terrorists. He encourages that. And he has nothing to lose if he wins. You know that, right?
Yeah.
No one's going to put him out of office. There's nothing he can't do. He can basically be like, I'm king. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to lock everybody I don't agree with up. He can do anything. He's a lame duck president. And they've showed him there's nothing you can do that will stop you on. We'll fund you. You want to start arresting American citizens? AOC and all them will sign the paper to fund them. We're talking crap about it, publicly. That's the kind of people we're dealing with. Pelosi will do the same thing. Just make sure she has something in it for her. These people will sell us out. And then I hear people on these quote-unquote progressive talk shows, well, Trump will have it hard if he tries to stay in office because the military will never back him. Our military's with the people. How can you say that with a straight face?
Was that in English or in Mandarin?
It was in English. It was one of their pundits on the Young Turks was saying that one day.
Wow.
They were saying, like, the military will back the people. The military is the people and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, most of the police out here treating us, just attacking us with disregard and wishing they could kill us all. Most of them, I think a high percentage at least, 50+%, came from the military. Yeah, they're going to do whatever they're told. They're not going to give a dang about us, and there might be a few that will turn on the people and do something with the military. I don't have any faith with that, with the police. With the military, maybe. But yeah, the whole military in general will do whatever. They'll brutalize us. They'll murder us. They'll bomb us if they're told to. Without question. That's what I believe.
Well, again, these are all decisions that once upon a time, there was more of one person, one decision, that used to exist in the past a lot more than it does now about anything in your everyday life. Sometimes it was sold as convenience. Sometimes it was just taken from you. And I mean, to just make any generalization about any system that exists, I mean, you can't even make a statement like that about fast food workers or nurses or anybody anymore. This is just all selling a viewpoint bullshit that doesn't help, isn't really relative to anything, but it's like a dogmatic statement. It's like quoting a line of scripture to these people. Well, that's all that shit is.
I think the reason they were talking about the military having to come in and will back the people, quote, as they were saying, was because Trump keeps saying he doesn't know if he'll leave office. He doesn't know if he'll, agree with the results of an election if he loses. So, I mean, I think it was a valid point to bring that up, but I think they're totally wrong in saying the military will always back the people.
Well, I think there's a little bit of a basis on what the guy was saying, because remember, at first the story came out that the Joint Chiefs of Staff would not get involved. Flat out. That's all it said. They would not get involved. So you can take that as they're okay with it. But it was less than 48 hours later that an official statement came out from the chairman of the JCS And you could read between the lines, and you were supposed to read between the lines. And it said that they stand for the Constitution, and they take very seriously enemies within and without. And the country will not be put on the precipice of falling apart because of one man. That's all they said.
Can those people be fired easily?
At this point in time, this close to the election, no. It would have to be done through the Pentagon more than the White House. And there's lots of layers in the Pentagon where that shit could get fucked up in 6 weeks.
I hope you're right.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like these people can do whatever they want. Like we said before, every time a new person comes in and new precedents are set, you have more power for this next person coming in. And if I was a Republican, I'd be upset right now because Biden is leading in the poll. Who knows who's going to win? I don't know. But if he did win, now all this power we built up for our crazy guy, now their crazy guy is going to get it. Less crazy, maybe, but crazy. And if he's not crazy, he's a terrorist. He's a terrorist either way. He's just a crazy terrorist. I mean, when you sign off on that many wars and funded that many deaths of people, you're a sick person.
You're a tool of the system, and you gave your soul up a long time before now. I mean, you can go all the way back to Gerald Ford suddenly becoming the vice president and then the president when Nixon left. Who the fuck's Gerald Ford? Oh, gee, I don't know. He was only like one of the top 2 guys on the Warren Commission that looked into the Kennedy assassination. So, I mean, this shit never stops. It never will stop. It's part of how the system works down there. So, I mean, I'm not really surprised. Here's fucking Joe Biden. I mean, he's a pretty solid bet for their brand right now. And that's that.
In America, they said, Gerald Ford, you mean the guy who made the automobiles? He was president. He was president too.
No, that was Henry Ford, the Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah, I was just like, these people are stupid sometimes, but that's why I was laughing. I just started thinking about what if somebody said Gerald Ford and he made a fine car too.
Yeah, I drive a Ford. Yeah.
That's a Trump supporter.
Buy American.
Yeah, Biden. I mean, it just kills me how these Democrats be like, John Bolton. He's horrible. What a warmonger. He's terrible. And this, and then all of a sudden, Biden. What a guy. I'm choosing Biden. Didn't you hate war when this guy was all up in it?
Well, again, these are just decisions that are made by noise that appeal to people's feelings, not their fucking logic. That's it.
Yeah, they got to get over that. We got to teach people how to think critically from a young age. I don't know. A lot of stuff has to change to get a better society.
And, it took a long time to get to this point, but here we are.
Here we are. You're not even here.
Well, we ain't all that far behind. We get closer every fucking day.
Everybody who leaves this country to go somewhere else, even for vacation, be so happy. But
it's only natural to want where you are to get better. That's all.
That's true. I just wish we all felt this way.
Yeah, unless you're a sociopath consumed with acquiring wealth and don't give a fuck for anybody else. I mean, those people exist everywhere too. They just seem to concentrate in certain places more than others.
Yeah. It just makes me sick that these people, these two fascists, are going to be talking in about 20 minutes about some nonsense that's just stupid. It doesn't matter because neither one of them's worthy to even be in any kind of politics.
See, this is just like WrestleMania, so there must be a pre-match show on right now because it's like trending #1 on Twitter and it's live. So if it hasn't even started yet, is this like the fucking Super Bowl pre-show?
I'll pay a lot of money to have them come out in tights. See, if they really want donors, then y'all need to wrestle. You need to put on the tights and get out there and wrestle in a ring. Screw the debate, just wrestle.
But then the question becomes, who's the ref?
I would do the same dude. What's his name? Chris Matthews? Is that him? Is that who's doing it?
Chris Matthews as a ref.
Yeah, just give him a striped shirt. It's not that hard.
Oh my God, his rug will come off before Trump's.
Man, I can see it. You'd be like, you want to see this? It's $39.95 pay-per-view. You want to see the presidential debate, quote unquote. Ding ding. Man, I'd be
debate
paying
in the
right
cage.
now. Yeah. Cage debate.
Wow, that's awesome, man. A cage debate.
But then they have extra things. Like they leave them in the cage when the ring girl comes through and you lose points for trying to grope her. You have to control yourself and be presidential. Plot twist, neither one can do it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Who wins in that situation?
Trump's grabbing her everywhere and Biden's sniffing her hair.
Oh my God.
Oh man, this is like the worst. These people are so dumb for ever letting this happen. And yes, you people that voted for every senator and congresswoman and congressman and senator woman and senator man and president and mayors and whatever, you're all responsible because you you allow them to put in the worst people. I'm not going to vote for a fascist. I'm not going to vote for a person who doesn't have our best interest. I'm not going to vote for a corporatist or a capitalist or anything I don't believe in. But you all will because it's your party. Or at least it's not the other guy. It's a little bit less evil. Whatever. Enjoy it.
Well, that's just it. People vote about what makes them feel better.
Everyone who ever voted for Biden in any way, shape, or form is responsible for all the deaths he's caused. Anyone who voted for Bush, same thing. Reagan, same thing. Any of these people, man. Any of these people. Even Bernie Sanders. He just twisted his story. He funded a war. He just didn't vote for the war. So he's got blood on his hands too. These ICE concentration camps, nobody's stopping them. They might talk crap about them, but they're not stopping them. If they cared, why aren't they in there? Why aren't these Democrats who supposedly care 24/7 save the babies? They don't care. They care less about that than they do about you because they want your vote. And once they get it, they don't care about you anymore for 2, 4, 6, however many years it's going to be. That's a system we got here, Glenn. And everyone who walks out there and votes for one of these people lets it happen every time.
Yeah, I would agree. That's pretty much the system U.S. politics has become. Yeah, and nothing's going to change that. Except the people themselves. And, I'm not there, so I don't know, but I'm not sensing an overwhelming willingness to put in the work on it.
Yeah, the people need to get with it. Revolution has come, time to pick up a gun, that kind of stuff. We need to get on that. I don't know where these picket sign holder, vote people. Man, why do they think it's all of a sudden one day going to work? If we just do it long enough, it'll work out in our favor eventually. Law of averages. Is that what they're thinking?
I don't know. Or they're all working on some sort of ancient Chinese 500-year plan concept or something. I don't know. I have no idea. But I mean, you know, I remember from the old days, there was a good meme with a bunch of people standing on a fucking curbside with posters and stuff. Then there's one dude that's holding one up that says, "Fuck this guy," and an arrow sideways.
And he did what sideways? I was choking, sorry.
It said, "Fuck this guy," and it had an arrow to the guy beside him. You know, it was a great meme. It worked anywhere.
Yeah.
Anytime. It was awesome. Fuck this guy.
Oh, man.
And, you know, it's about time that shows up again. Everything runs in cycles in popular culture.
Yeah. It's funny because the people that are arguing with me about Biden all the time are supposedly, they are anonymous. And it's like, I remember a time when our slogan, at least a lot of us, most of us, was vote for nobody in whatever year, because nobody cares about you. Nobody has your best interest at heart. Nobody will, you know what I mean? Nobody will take away your money and do nothing with it. Nobody will steal from you. Just, yeah. And I don't know what happened, man. You got most of these cats on this Trump thing, and the rest of them are all on Biden, and you got a few good ones mixed in that still understand. Screw the politics. It's all the same. Whoever you vote for, the same people win. And I'm not talking about conspiracy Illuminati. I'm talking about these rich people that are going to get paid either way, that lobby the politicians, that are their donors, their biggest donors. And the politicians themselves. That's what you are all allowed to happen every time you go vote for one of these scumbuckets. Keep that in mind in the voting booth. And next time things ain't going right, point at yourself and say, I made this happen for settling. I settled for second. You know what I mean? I settled for less than what I could have because it wasn't as bad as what it could have been.
Cornflakes or Frosted Flakes?
No, those are both kind of not bad. People like both of those. And they don't kill you.
Well, slowly they may.
I know. It is. It's just like cornflakes or Frosted Flakes. Coke or Pepsi, whatever.
Coke or Adderall.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's these people's fault. I blame everybody who votes. I don't care who you vote for. I blame you. You're part of the problem. So, yeah, I guess there's going to be Trump is trying to get cops and MAGA losers to go stand in front of polling places on election days to, quote unquote, make sure that everything's legal. Like as I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, just like they do in places like Colombia.
Officials. Yeah, exactly. They already did it in one place. They threw a. How come when they blocked off a street so people couldn't go vote, and they're asking everybody if they're voting Republican or Democrat coming down the street, and they'd only let the Republicans through without threats of violence. So, how come they can always block off the streets? It's not an issue. We block off the streets. It's like, that's a terrorist act. You deserve to be run over. Y'all out there with guns doing it, and weapons and stuff.
Who's dumb enough to tell them Democrat when you're going through the line?
You know these people, man. They're stupid. Biden.
Yeah. Oh man. Like
Just like
Jesus
if
Christ.
it was the other way around, somebody like Trump, 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 would have had it just to be a jerk. It's their team. It's their team. They gotta represent their team.
See, that's what I mean about the East German attitude. In East Germany in the 80s, everybody would have said Republican, no matter how they're voting, because figure it out, you know?
Just to go get your vote if you want it.
Yeah, exactly. They're not coming in the fucking voting booth with you. You just got to get by them. Tell them the right name. Keep going.
Man, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's all bullshit, I know. And I also see that now information has come out that there was something, it was under 100, but Portland police officers were sworn in as
federal agents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read about that.
And it's valid until the end of the year.
Yep.
So they're in the field. They're federal agents, not only a cop.
Yeah, and they can charge you with federal crimes, just like the cops make up crimes to get quotas. Now they're going to do it federally. They're going to be going through anything. What can we get them with federally? What can we do federally to get them, to give them more time?
Well, what I'm thinking is they don't exactly have to follow the same laws that may pertain to the Portland Police Department.
Oh,
especially on silent warrants and shit like that.
Yeah, that's a scary thing.
Oh, yeah.
And who are these cops? Are they the same ones that have been out there abusing people all the time?
Yeah.
Most likely. Dude, it's so bad. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, you said, they should just shut up and say they're MAGAs and go on in and vote for whoever they want, right? There's, this is older news from like a couple months ago, but it blew my mind. There's like a retirement senior living community in Florida somewhere. And these people are having like a civil war where like the seniors are attacking each other, or, and slashing tires and flipping golf carts and, fighting about stuff, and between Biden and Trump. That's how insane it is. It's divided a senior community.
Yeah, well, again, what sort of culture would make these people that they could be this old in retirement and this is how they behave? Like, this never would have happened before.
You think you get to a certain age where you'd be like, whatever these fascists do, I'm not going to live through the rest of it. I'm tired of fighting. I just want to enjoy a couple more years. But nah, they still got their Trump hats and screaming, and the other ones are like Democrat, Biden, whatever.
It just seems so like it's almost a prophecy. It's showing to people that you can live to be old. You can even make enough money to afford a decent retirement. But this political poison is never going away.
Yeah, on that note, is there anything else we want to go over? Because we kind of been going at this a while.
Yeah, okay. I see that, of course, since passing no law to help the American people is important to anybody in Washington, I would just like to remind everybody that the Canadian government, the Parliament, has resumed after a throne speech. Don't forget, it's a minority government. There was supposed to be a confidence vote. They passed it, and then they've announced a whole shitload of programs to replace the emergency money they were giving to people. That 6 months is up, so they need new ones. So they've come up with a whole batch of them, and it's going to help a lot more people than what was happening before. but it's also going to leave out the same old people that always get left out, mostly the disabled. But that was done with a minority parliament with 4 different political parties having a say in the end result. And we got it done. So what the fuck's wrong with you guys down there?
Excuse me. American exceptionalism gave not everybody, but quite a few people $1,200 over the last 8 months, man. So I don't know what you're talking about. But These cats are out here with limousines and helicopters and diamonds and gold. They got $1,200. No one's seen that kind of money ever. Oh, wait, just 1,200. Never mind. I was thinking like 12 million, but it was just 12,000. I mean, 1,200. See, I can't even comprehend it. It's so stupid and little. Yeah, then they went back and took recess and break, and they still haven't got back around to it. They're appointing Supreme Court justices. They're passing all kinds of funds going to rich corporations and bailouts for this, but the people, not so. The people who actually pay the taxes, not so much. Oh, yeah, we didn't talk. Speaking of not paying taxes, Trump paid $750 worth of taxes in 2019, I believe. No, 2000 and was it 17 or was it 19? I don't know. But $750, that's $750 more than I thought he paid. So most people are complaining, but I'm like, hey.
Well, he didn't get a refund.
Exactly.
That New York Times piece on Trump's taxes is very long, and it is intricately detailed. That article is as legitimate gets in journalism. And I think it's a definite sign that the media is going to work against Trump this time. It's just starting.
I don't think it's going to change anybody's mind. I think his supporters will die supporting him.
No, but it may redirect some money in this crucial last period. And that's what it's really about. That's what it's really about. If they can get Republicans to keep their money in their pocket, if they can get Democrats to put out a little more, that's what this is about to them. And I think that article probably did change some donor attitudes from now until November 3rd. And I think that's exactly what it was meant to do. And it did a really good job of that.
Oh, yeah, but the average KKK guy, he's for Trump no matter what. Doesn't like.
Well, they don't read the Times anyway.
You could have stopped at read.
Well, that too.
They don't read.
I was just being more specific for,
Yeah.
No, but that's true. But I think, a lot of people said, and, I think we kind of talked about it once or twice, the media had an awful lot to do with Trump winning in 2016. Well, they're not going to do it again.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, they give him all the airtime. Well, I guess he's president now. So now they can legitimately do it. Last time, they just gave him so much airtime for free.
Well, how many networks has he called fake news numerous times, et cetera, et cetera? Maybe they finally figured, you know what? We don't have to give our coverage away to you. Fuck you.
But that's what it is. If there's an article that says something good about him, that's a decent article. If it says anything bad about him, fake news. And these people go with it. His followers say that too. Like, oh, Trump only did this. Oh, now their new thing is he's such a smart businessman. He's going to do this for America, and we're not going to pay taxes.
Okay. Yeah, sure. That's how that works.
That's how shrewd he is. He only paid $750 in taxes in 10 years or something. That's because he's a genius. That's what the kind of stuff they're saying now.
Well, that's the problem with so many people. They read 4 lines and they think they got the story. The fucking Times piece, if you printed it, it'd probably be 15 pages. But it's all there. This guy is a fucking idiot. He just keeps rolling the dice. too big to fail. That's his attitude.
And he's super indebted too.
Oh yeah.
Like what is it, a couple $100 million?
He's never made profit over the lifespan of his prize golf courses. Never. They lose money constantly.
He's pretty much failed at every business he's tried except for the television stuff.
If he didn't have Trump Tower, he would have disappeared a long time ago.
Yeah, but he has gangsters giving him money through that. They're doing all kinds of scams at that place. That's not like a legitimate business. That's a money laundering scheme is what it is.
Yeah, but him and how many other property management corporations in New York are doing it, and they all get away with it.
Yeah.
You know? So, that was one thing. This is a whole new category.
Yeah, we should stop over our head. We're about to hit 2 hours.
All right.
So, yeah. What was I going to say? I don't know. Oh yeah, we're doing some new stuff with Music to Riot too. We're gonna try to make an original mixed tape along with what we're doing with the mixes every so often. And the union is getting worked on. It's coming along. It's still a little ways away, but we just kind of stopped putting stuff up because I think I tweeted about it and stuff. There was some little bumps we hit. We need to slow down, step back, because we need to side up first. We things just didn't work out as like we thought. We talked about it before, I think, Glenn.
Yeah.
Things just didn't work out right, so we got to take a step back before we could keep moving forward, because this wasn't the way it was supposed to be, and things just went wrong. So it's on its way. Just be patient. It hasn't gone anywhere. Don't unfollow it. The union will be back in a big way. Well, it's going to be as big as y'all make it. So there's a bunch of missions up on the union Twitter. Go over there, look through them, complete them, especially this week if you're in certain places like Los Angeles. It's going to be like 100-something degrees. Get out there with frozen water and give it to people on the streets as much as possible. Try to find out if there's cooling centers around where you can direct people to get to or get people there that need it. Just do what you can for people in this heat and take care of each other. And thank you for listening. And thank you, Glenn. And is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Cool. We're out.